Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining the Finjan Show. It's really an honor to be able to host and facilitate the discussion during this show. And what I'd like to do today is many people have asked me to really elaborate on this resilient entrepreneur canvas that we have created. And although I'm humbled by your questions and I'm honored to be able to answer them, it was really from the learning that we have gained working with so many entrepreneurs globally. And we'll just go ahead and spend maybe a little bit of time in explaining how that works and how you could leverage it to advance your business. What we did is during the first few months last year, March 2020, all the way till September 2020, we had a call where people called us from all over the world multiple times throughout the week, and we allowed them to explain to us what they were doing or what's going on with them, and reflected back and supported them in the way that we have seen others do from 2008, 2001, some other times during my own personal journey of war zones or starting a businesses during that time or running businesses, as well as the leaders that I was interacting with, what they've done, what they said, what they didn't say, but I know that they were doing, all those things. And we started reflecting back what we were hearing in March 2020, and then started reflecting, can we take what we were listening to or what we're hearing and what we know that you may be able to explore and provide a framework for those who may be struggling to understand, or maybe are just stuck, or maybe they want to break through where they are, whatever the scenario is. Can we take that framework and provide it for someone so they could learn from it? Well, the truth of the matter, as we all know, each crisis is so different. Each scenario is so different. And this pandemic is different than 2008, it's different than 2001, it's different than any war, it's different than any pandemic. Each one of them will have their own characteristics. Each one of them will have their own solutions. Each one of them, you're gonna have to explore what would work for you at the time with what's happening. In the same time, we learned that there was a framework that you could use to reference because they all have done similar things. Now, this framework that we call the Resilient Entrepreneur Canvas is actually used by leaders. So I'd like to, maybe one day we call it Resilient Canvas, and it's used by individuals with their home, or individuals with businesses, or individuals with management as hierarchy, or anyone that's responsible for someone else. And the reason I say that, because it was clear that there was becoming a differentiator between those who wanted to keep moving forward and those who were maybe wanted to stand still. And by the way, no right or wrong, it might have been the best fit for you to stand still. It might have been the best thing for you to move forward. We're just sharing the moving forward philosophy from the resilient entrepreneur and what got them going despite what was happening around them. So this canvas is broken into 4 blocks. And I'm gonna walk you through these blocks in a really high level. We're talking about less than 10 minutes here. And we're gonna just give you some of those ideas that I'm hoping that will inspire you to dig a little bit deeper with us on your own through this canvas. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back to discuss these 4 pillars of the canvas. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome back. So this canvas in the 4 pillars, the first box, I'm gonna call it, or pillar, is really what's called the mindset. And what we learned from these resilient entrepreneurs and leaders, that they really had a mindset. And this mindset broken into 3 different categories. Entrepreneurship mindset, meaning what problem do I solve, or what opportunity do I have? Leadership, mindset, which means I might have to step up and maybe the only person doing something, or maybe doing something that is not comfortable. And then because of the crisis mode, remember, this is about crisis, right? We noticed that they all had a mindset of compassion. Now, I don't want to say everybody, but I'm going to just say the majority, right? Had a compassion aspect of it. So this is the mindset that they had. So once you have the mindset, then we noticed that they started doing things, I want to call it the self-awareness, so me and around me. So with the me piece of it, and this is the next box, the self, and it has 2 components, the self and the around me. The self is being around, being aware of what's going on with the person, being able to take the time to breathe or freak out if needed, or to analyze what's happening if needed. That's all part of it. Also, taking the time to make sure that the resources and the information that you're receiving is correct from a credible person, from a credible resource, because we notice that information in such pandemics usually could come from anywhere, and it's not necessarily is correct or credible, it's just floating. So making sure that they're taking the time to analyze the data and analyze the resources and the sources that it's coming from. We also noticed something that's pretty neat. They surrounded themselves with individuals that also supported such activities. So looking around you to see what else can you be doing with what you have, whether it's at home or within the network that you have. That was something that we noticed. And we noticed that they surrounded themselves with people that wanted to move forward, did not want to stand still. So that's really the second box. So the mindset, the self. The next two boxes are really more about the business side of things. So this is the business box, and this is the third box, and really analyzing what is it that person have. And when you started listing all the things that you have, whether it's customer names, resources as far as manufacturers, channels, marketing tools, whatever you have, cash, of course, all those things, lines of credit, all those things listed. Then they start looking at this list and say, what can I leverage with what I have? Can I get something out of what I have? Can I move forward with something that I have? So accessing these resources. I have a list of 50,000 people that I never really contacted or did anything with, or whatever the scenario is. I have this cash that is sitting now that I could maybe use to preserve some of my work, or maybe get into a new opportunity, or to provide a new market, or to make sure that my staff is safe and secure providing this product or service, right? These are the things that you started thinking about. What do I have? What can I leverage? And then we noticed that they started offering different things here and there. And what they were really doing is they kind of like testing the market, offering these things. And as they offered it and they noticed that there was a bite on it, they started piloting these programs to say, okay, we're gonna have a pilot with this customer segment, or we're gonna have a pilot with this product or service. And that's really the business frame. So what you have, what you could leverage, what you can offer, and what you can pilot for a little bit longer term. And then we notice the last box of it, and we'll conclude after this, is really how can you move forward? And that was really around a couple of things. So the fourth and last box is about moving forward, which is usually required operation management, time management, communications, both internally and externally. And of course, in this case, safety and security. So that's really the canvas of how we've broken up to. And what we learned as we started discussing this with entrepreneurs, they came back and said, Faris, you know, it's really interesting. I really never thought about that way, but it's exactly what I did. It's exactly how we operated. And the reason why we're able to frame it this way, because we've been lucky to work with thousands of entrepreneurs for years, almost 30 years now. And when you are working with such amazing people and you listen and you pay attention to the behavior and not necessarily what they might tell you, but what they're doing or what they've been doing, to analyze what could be done for someone else observing that could learn from this frame, you could learn a lot. This framework is nothing less than that. So it's thanks to all your work, thanks for all your resiliency, and I wish you the continuous success with your journey. Thanks for tuning in. Till next show, have a great day. Thank you.